Okay, so guys, welcome back to another video. Long time no see, yeah. Okay, so for today, we're gonna go for another basic practice, which is balance equation and also writing a balance equation. So first of all, let's straight move into it. So for balance equation, the main thing is, let's say, if you already know how to write an equation, so the next thing to do is always balance equation, because to write a balance equation, you always get 2 marks, okay, or maybe 1 mark. Okay, sometimes you get a mark for writing out, sometimes you get a mark for balancing. Okay, now. So in this case here, let's say for number 1, okay, so again, I have prepared some PDF, okay, which is this PDF is about balance equation and also writing out equations. So the PDF will be at the section below, the description box. So for here, okay, let's say for number 1, okay, the point of balance equation is to always try to check the element before arrow and after arrow. So let's say this is the arrow, okay, this is before reaction. Okay, normally I will call this a reactant. Okay, this is known as a reactant, and this is known as the product. Okay, because you have different reactant, after reaction they produce some new product. Okay, now, so let's say for here, before arrow, I am having 1 aluminium. Okay, how do I know it's 1? If you don't see any number, it's 1. Okay, now. Then if you look at after arrow, you see AlCl3. So when you have AlCl3, you see Al in front got no number, at the bottom right also no number, so it means that it's only 1 aluminium. So for 1 aluminium in the front and the back, aluminium right now on the left and right is the same number. Okay, same number means it's already balanced. But then if you look at chlorine, okay, chlorine it's actually Cl2, okay, but at the back of the arrow you have Cl3. So one side is 2, one side is 3, yeah. So it's not balanced. So what do you always do when you want to balance equation? Yeah, balance equation is always try to make the left and right same number. So what you can do is, if you see 2 and 3, as you learn in maths, okay, between 2 and 3, what is a common number? We know this in maths called the lowest common multiplier. Okay, so 2 and 3, lowest common multiplier will be 6. Why that? Because 2 times 3 can become 6, and then 3 times 2 also can become 6. So you see, 2 and 3 the same number. If you want to make them the same number, 6 will be the nearest number. So for here, see, I have a 2 here. I want to make this into 6, so I cannot just go and take my correction tape. I just correction tape this off. Cannot. Okay, so to balance equation is to put a number in front of the chemical. So from here, you see, since I have two chlorine here, I'm gonna put a 3, a big number 3 in front of chlorine. So students always confuse, teacher, when should I put a number 2 at the bottom right? When should I put a number in front of the chemical? So the number at the bottom right is when you try to write out equation that time. When you're trying to write out equation, the number is from them. Okay, it's from that side. Okay, now. But after you write out equation, when you want to balance, the number is only in front of the chemical. Okay, now. So different situation, you put different number. Okay, so you only put your number at the bottom right when you are trying to write the equation. But after writing out equation, when you balance you cannot add any number towards the bottom right anymore. Okay, after you write out equation, when you want to balance, you only can put a number in front of chemical. So I have 3 times Cl2, I have 6 Cl. Okay, then for the other one, I have AlCl3. Okay, for this case here, see, I have 3 Cl. So how do I make this become 6? So what you can do is, I can times the 2. Okay, now, so when I times the 2, 2 times 3 becomes 6. Okay, so I'm trying to make them become 6 because, as I said just now, 2 and 3, the same number between them is 6. I try to make them become 6. So when I 3 times 2, I have 6 chlorine. Okay, 2 times 3, I also have 6 chlorine. But beware of when you try to balance equation let's say for this chemical, because you put a 2 in front of the whole chemical, so the 2 will expand out into aluminium and also into chlorine. So obviously you are settled, you're done with chlorine, but you accidentally times the 2 for aluminium also. What you can do because here at the back already got now become 2, in the front only got 1. So what I do is I will times the 2 here. Okay, now so for balance equation, I'm trying to make a smaller number become a bigger number. Okay, now so let's say for here I got 2, here only got 1, so I times the 2 here. So when I times the 2 at there, I have 2 aluminium, settle. Okay, I have 6 aluminium, I have 6 chlorine and I have 6 chlorine. Okay, now so in this whole balance equation thing, you are trying to make everything multiply a certain number. And then what you can do is you can actually try to count left and right, who got more, who got less. Make the one lesser become the more. If one side is 1, one side is 2, make the 1 become 2. Okay, now something like this. Okay, one side got 2, one side got 3. We are trying to make it into 6. Okay, so this will be a balanced equation. So I will do a few more examples and I will leave some questions for you guys for your own practice. So for the next one, yeah, I have Mg plus HNO3. So when I will get MgNO3 bracket 2 plus H2. Okay, now. So for this case, you see, I have 1 Mg. I have 1 Mg. Okay, so 1 Mg, 1 Mg, magnesium supposedly is okay. Okay, settled already. Then, but then, if you look carefully on other elements, okay, so balance equation now, students always tend to forget that, teacher, where should I start? Should I start with the first, second, third, or which one? So guys, okay, just go along with the flow. Go along with the chemical you have. Start with the first element. So I have Mg, then I check Mg first. So Mg, settle. Okay. After Mg settle already, I check with the second element, which is H. So H is what? How many H I have? I only have 1 H. But at the back, got H2. So what do you do? So I say if one side is 1, one side is 2, you make the 1 become 2. How? 1 times what become 2? Obviously very simple. 1 times 2 become 2. So you can see from here, 2HNO3. So what happened is when you type the 2 here, H2 is done. But is the one at the back done? Let's check. So these 2 will expand all into every element in this formula here. So you see 2N. Okay, I have 2 nitrogen. But at the back, you see, do you see it's NO3 bracket 2? So this bracket stands for these 2 have to expand into every element here. So, okay, now. So since I have N bracket 2, means I have N2. Yeah, in the front N2, at the back also N2. So N, we accidentally settle it. Okay, now. Therefore, O3 times 2, I have O6. At the back also O3 bracket 2. So you see, by putting one number in front of HNO3, you accidentally balance everything else. Okay, now. So there are questions like this that once you just put one number, you can get all the whole equation balance. Okay. So if you're okay, let's do one more. Okay. The other one is here. I have carbon monoxide, where with oxygen, I have carbon dioxide. Okay, now. So in this case, for this one, how to do length? Yeah. So I have one carbon, so left and right, one carbon each. Okay, it should be quite simple. Then the thing is, I have one carbon, but I have how many oxygen? You check. At the back got 2 oxygen, but in the front, you see got 2 plus 1. Here got O3, here got O2. So you see, teacher, I thought when I see 3 and 2, I make them 6 mark, right? But normally that case is when you have chemical that is in one formula, which is, you see, like just now Cl2, Cl3, they are in one formula, right? One side, one formula. But now your oxygen are split into 2 things. You add together, only you get O3. So in this case, students will tend to ask, teacher, if I try to make it become 6, I cannot start. I don't know how to start. Okay, now, so this is always all your question. So you say, teacher, where should I start? Where should I put 2? Where should I put 3? Should I put 4? What number should I put and where should I start? So I'll say a shortcut. Okay, this shortcut is actually like this. Whenever you have question like this, when you're stuck, when you say, teacher, I don't know where to start. So when you are struggling where to start, I give you a kickstart. So what's the kickstart? The kickstart will be looking at all the compound here, all the formulas here. Let's count how many atoms inside them. So C and O got 2 atoms, 1 C, 1 O. O2 also got 2 atoms, okay? We all got 2 oxygen inside. CO2 got 1 C and 2 O, right? There's 3 atoms here. So what you're going to do is, you try to analyze and who have the most atoms, which is the last one, right? That guy will be your kickstart. What do you do to him? You try to times the 2. Okay, because right now you are struggling there. You don't know how to start. So I give you a kickstart. When you don't know how to start, you find the formula with the most atoms, okay, with the most alphabets, okay? Then you try to times the 2 first. Then you try again. You will get your answer magically, okay? So you see, once you times the 2 here, I times the 2 here, I makes you to have 2C. So in the front only got 1. So I also times 2. Okay, now, so because I times the 2 here, this is the kickstart I give you, okay? So I have 2C, settle. Okay, now, but once I times the 2 here, the 2 will expand to the O. So 2O2 will be O4 for oxygen. So in the front will be 2 times 1, which is here is O2 plus O2. Do you see it's O4? Settle. You magically solve your own balance equation by having a kickstart. Okay, now, so guys, this method here, this shortcut, this kickstart is only when you use it when you're really struggling, because I want you to practice. Okay, not for you to, oh, teacher, can I use this method for every equation? Don't be so lazy lah. Practice your basic first, okay? So let's say for number 4, okay? I don't want to stop anything first, okay? I don't want to go and see teacher. Can I straight away use, find the one with the most atoms that I can do for him? Don't are so lazy. So from here, you see, so I have N2, okay? At the back, I have N1 because there's no number. Okay, no number in front of him, no number at the bottom right. Okay, so N2, N1, so I make that 1 become 2. So I times the 2 here. So 2N, 2N, settle. Okay, now, but once I times the 2 here, the 2 will also expand to the H mark. So I have H6. So at the back got H6, in the front got 2. So guys, again, one side is 6, one side is 2. You make the smaller one become bigger number. So 2 can become 6 by multiply what number? How 2 becomes 6? 2 times 3. So therefore 3H2 is the answer. So you see, N2, N2, and then H6, H6. Okay now, so basically I will do this 4 as a basic practice. So the rest you can try to do it, and the answer will be at the PDF at the bottom. Okay, so because this video is just a kickstart, okay, just to guide you along, and the main thing is you have to practice yourself. Okay, so if you're okay with this, after we learn how to balance, okay, the real deal is you need to know how to write all these equations in exam criteria. So for here, you're gonna go to the next page, also provided in the PDF at the bottom. Okay, so in exam, they always give you names. Okay, now they give you name of the chemical. You have to write out the symbol of the chemical, and then you have the balance equation. So to write a balance equation, number 1 is, if I look at the name here, I have magnesium, I have hydrochloric acid, I have magnesium chloride, okay, I have hydrogen gas. Okay, now, so in exam, they might not give you in this way. They might give you just in one question, like you see, like example at the bottom, see, when solid zinc carbonate is heated, it decomposes into zinc oxide powder and carbon dioxide. You need to build equation from a sentence. Okay, so some basic practice right here is, I give you the equation form, try to use the name and write out the symbol first. So for the first one, magnesium, what's the symbol for magnesium? Will be Mg. Okay, now, then hydrochloric acid will be HCl. Okay, so basically guys, all these symbol, you must have it in your mind. If you don't have it in your mind, it's time to memorize. Okay, so for that, after that, you're gonna get magnesium chloride. So for this case, whenever you see names that combines two different elements, students will tend to actually forget how to combine them. Okay, so therefore here, magnesium chloride. Student will give me, teacher, very simple, magnesium is Mg, chloride is Cl. So teacher, is it MgCl? It's wrong. Why? Because when you have a metal and non-metal combined, so when you have two different element combined, they combine together in the form of ions. So means magnesium at here is actually magnesium ion, chloride at here is chloride ion. Okay, so at here is, you need to remember what is the charge of magnesium ion and what's the charge of chloride ion. So let's say, if you really know about it, magnesium ion is Mg2 plus, chloride is Cl minus. Okay, so from here, because we know that Mg is 2 plus, Cl is minus, you're going to get MgCl2. Okay, plus hydrogen gas. Hydrogen is H, but it's a gas. Gas always have to put a 2 at the bottom right. So guys, you see, do you see that how a number at the bottom right comes out in an equation? Like just now I say, just now I mentioned that all these numbers at the bottom right, okay, is when you write equation, you should have it already, which is cases like this. You see this? This 2 is because the Mg2 plus and Cl minus, when they combine, you need 2 Cl to balance off the 2 positive charge. So I have MgCl2. And then why H got 2? H is 2 because H is a gas. Every gas you see, they always have diatomic. Like oxygen gas is O2, nitrogen gas is N2, hydrogen gas is N2. Whenever you see something gas, you always have 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So all these things should be having in your mind already. If you don't have it, it's time to do more practice. Okay, so from the name, I can write out the symbol. If you can write this out, you're halfway there. Not even halfway. I will say this is like 80% of the marks already. Okay, so for here, if you can successfully write this out by yourself, very good. Okay, but if you don't, it's time to practice off your charge and time to remember that your gas have to have this 2. Because if all these things you never write this out, this 2 you never write out, this H you never write out, you're gonna be wrong. Okay, now so all these 2 you're gonna have it in your mind. How does it come from? Okay, it comes from the charge. It is a compound. If it's a gas, it comes from a gas which is diatomic, which is 2. Okay, so for Mg plus HCl, then I get MgCl2 plus H2. So for this case here, once I can write out the symbol equation, I'm gonna actually have to do balance equation. So for here, I have 1 Mg, I have 1 Mg at the back, so 1 Mg, 1 Mg, settle. Okay, then for H, I got 1, but at the back only got 2. Okay, at the back got 2. So in the front got 1, at the back got 2. Something very simple, right? How to make the 1 become 2? I times 2. So when I times 2, I have 2H, I have H2. Okay, can so you see the difference between these 2 and these 2 is very different. The 2 here comes out because it's a gas. The 2 here, it appears to be here because you are trying to balance equation. Okay, so 2H, H2, settle. Okay, and then 2 will expand also to the chlorine, so I have 2 chlorine. Okay, and the back also 2 chlorine, settle. Okay, so if you're okay, continue for the next one. Carbon monoxide gas will be CO, okay, plus oxygen gas. Oxygen is O, but do you see it's a gas? Gas will be O2, and it forms carbon dioxide gas, which is CO2. Okay, so in this case here, we have carbon monoxide plus oxygen gas, you're going to get carbon dioxide gas. So try to balance it. You will see that this question, we did it just now, okay, which is the one that you're going to get stuck. So when you get stuck, as I said, find the compound with the most atoms, which is this guy, times the 2 for him, and then you will see that 2C, 1C. So you times 2, so 2C, 2C, settle, and then 2 times 2 is O4 at the back. In the front is 2 times 1, O2, plus 2, also O4. So 2C, 2C, and then O4, O4. Okay, so these are some basic practice that is quite simple. I'm going to go into a hard question, which is, let's say if I give you a sentence, let's say for here, silver nitrate is added to calcium chloride. Okay, it means you add these two things together. Silver chloride precipitate and calcium nitrate solution are produced. So from this question here, seems like a lot of chemicals, right? But if you read through it, they say silver nitrate is added to calcium chloride. So this question is hard because every compound you see, they are having 2 names. So as I told you, when a compound having 2 different names, you must remember they are formed from charge, from ions. Means silver nitrate, silver got charge, nitrate also got charge. Calcium chloride got charge, calcium got charge, chloride got charge. So let's say for now, if I assume that you already know, okay, if you don't know, time to memorize. Silver nitrate, it's silver is Ag plus, nitrate is NO3 minus, okay, 1 minus, calcium it's Ca2 plus, chloride is Cl minus. So when you combine them together, if it's 1 plus 1 minus, you just combine them in ratio between 1 to 1. You're going to get Ag, NO3 added to calcium chloride. Do you see calcium is 2 plus, chloride is 1 minus? So because one side is 2 plus, one side is Cl minus, you exchange a number, it becomes CaCl2. So this 2 comes from exchanging the charge. But the 3 here comes originally from the formula. Okay, NO3 minus, the 3 memang for oxygen. Okay, so don't throw the 3 away. Yeah, the 3 stick to the O. So when you add these two things together, you're gonna form silver chloride, which is silver now combines with chloride, which is this silver chloride. So Ag plus and Cl minus combined, you're gonna get AgCl. Okay, and calcium nitrate, now calcium and nitrate combined. So do you see you are trying to exchange ions? You see Ag plus finding a new partner, Cl minus, While Ca2 plus find a new partner, also NO3 minus. They exchange ions. So you form AgCl and then calcium nitrate. So calcium, because it's 2 plus, and NO3 is 1 minus. Just now, when you combine with 1 minus, you're going to get CaCl2, right? But now it's CaNO3 2. So you're going to have CaNO3. The 2 supposedly you have to give to the NO3, right? But if you have overlap numbers at the bottom right, you have to put a bracket. So Ca bracket NO3 2. Okay? So if you can write this out, good start. Then try to balance equation. I have Ag, and then at the back also 1 Ag. So 1 Ag, 1 Ag, settle. Okay? Okay. Then I have 1 N. But at the back, you see it's N bracket 2, which is 1 times 2. So if it's 1 times 2, here only got 1. I will times the 2 for my Ag and O3. Okay, now. So I have 2N, I have 2N. But go back to the first chemical again. Do you see I times 2 for the Ag and O3? I accidentally expanded into my Ag and O3. So you have to double check Ag again. I have 2 Ag at the front. I only have 1 at the back. So I have times 2. So that I have 2 Ag, and then 2N, 2N. Okay, until now all good. Next one, oxygen is 3 times 2 is O6. And then here is also O6. Oh, so Ag settle, N settle, O is settled. Ca1, Ca settle. Cl2, Cl2 settle. And that's how you get a balanced equation. So first you have to practice off how to write equation out from your naming. Okay. After you successfully write everything out, then you can balance equation, you get your 2 marks. So don't look down on these 2 marks, because in one exam paper, you might get more than 1 question on balancing equation, on trying to write equations. Okay, now. So for this case, I will leave the rest as an exercise. Okay, so because the purpose, as I said, the purpose of this video is a guideline. Okay, you have to go through it by yourself, do it yourself. Okay, so guys, if you're okay, I think that's all for this video. It's a guideline for you to write a balanced equation. So guys, I'll see you in my next video.